continent, north of the Limpopo province, and any developments in the establishment of the African society. This is to make the point that African civilization or important events and processes in Africa did not begin when the Europeans and Moors erected the head. Africa was not just the cradle of civilization, but also provided the first evidence of the existence of man. During the latter stage of the Stone Age, the population kept itself started to crystallize. In the centuries immediately and before the beginning of the Christian era, the first modern population came to the fore. The Khoisan and Black openly speaking. The Khoisan was the earliest identifiable modern society in South Africa. The Khoisan refers to the Khoisan or a sand or bushman. Because of their similarities, these two groups came to be grouped together and called themselves the Khoisan.
Oh, good morning, Uncle Blacksum. Let's go to John.
No matter what it's already done. No matter what it's already done. If you look at the man, when Papa Joe, what Papa, man? How many times must I tell you to give the tourist the proper direction to the side? Huh? No, not to let it What? And I said, I'm black some for Nugget. Dinner, Uncle Baboche.
Okay, Uncle Baboche. So, Uncle Reboche, hey, why are you here this time? I mean, Mohorong. Shouldn't you be at the tour site to guide the tourists?
Exactly.
What Papa, man? Huh? Put the tour site, for now, as we speak, by the Makapan start, instead of Makapan's day.
But still, Uncle.
What a loss.
Still, Uncle, you must remain at the tour site. That is where you belong.
Yeah, Eluna. Hey, stop telling me that the tour site, man. It's almost lunchtime. Then I get to the car.
Uncle, guys, does the tour guide also have lunch? I want to eat on the way while guiding the tourists.
Barbecue, I'm also a human being. I deserve the best.
You are almost right, Uncle.
Sis, ana mane ibila ngopotsa ngompiti kwa gate ntse ke sa mmotsa ka bontle bo ba Limpopo. Limpopo is beautiful. Just look how rich we are in culture and natural resources.
You know, Uncle, that is why I love Limpopo so much.
What's about number? What's about I can Limpopo? I feel like a tourist attraction.
Tourist attraction.
Yes, a tourist attraction.
Never. My uncle, come, there is nothing attractive about you except.
Except what? Liamoka.
I'm telling you.
Agar liamoka ubata untoha. Ubata untoha. Ruko bocha baby. Obanan. I'm a sign here the word Yalimpo. And I'm telling you, baby, one day I'm going to be rich like the great Limpopo from.
Mine is to cook and serve the tourists. You know, I bought this thing.
Wapapa. Umunyani maru unakana uchana le table mountain. Umunyani. Bueno, akiru rilo wata mereko. Shum mereko. Mereko. Handa bedi complex. Wapi edi ngata. The whole habitat. As I'll be waiting for the tourists and to guide them. And please, let me place an order because it's almost lunchtime.
Okay, Uncle Blackson. Yo, Uncle Babuji.
What would you like to eat today?
Same meal.
Oh, don't worry, Uncle Blackson. You know here I specialize with fresh African traditional cuisine. Go Limpopo, the home of peace and prosperity. But you can call me Bobby. And over there is Uncle Babuji. But you can call him Uncle Blackson. I believe you are the tourist you've been waiting for, right?
Well, it is nice meeting you. I'm Caroline May Washington from Washington, D.C.
Oh, nice to meet you, Miss May Washington from Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, tell us, where have you been? Because I've been waiting for you ever since this morning. I mean, from 6 a.m.
Actually, we took a wrong turn to Makapanstad instead of Makapan, baby. Hence we are here today.
I remember. You are here now. That's all that matters. Now make yourself comfortable. Make yourself comfortable, madam. Make yourself comfortable. As I will be making lunch for everyone, right?
Wapapa. You know what when I chef in a lunch. I really chance li appear quite a little test and a test. And when I test a ho camo. No, the Bobanamo. Who will allow them? And not who register French Paloni, Mopilani tourists. Who will allow them? Kitchen. You just cook the food and serve the tourists.
Uncle,
Go bolela rona
no,
mo
no,
jo pesa.
Uncle.
Full time.
I'll be
Hey.
back. I'll be back.
Good afternoon again, Mrs. Washington from Washington, D.C. I'm sorry for the drama with this barbecue. Yes.
Well, it is nice meeting you too, Uncle.
Black Sam. Black Sam, do Black Sam. Black Sam.
All right.
Heart bitter in English.
Yes,
This is nice.
it's always a pleasure meeting Sarge.
And you guys, you are so interesting.
That's our culture. That's our culture, man. And to make people laugh, always. You know, as they say, Mrs. Washington from Washington, D.C., laughter is a great medication.
Indeed.
Yeah. And by the way, Mrs. Washington, I have placed my order and it's been decades now. What would you like to eat?
I tell you what, it's actually better for you to wait for the order instead of you buying something that has been waiting for you for ages. No. Well, on that note,
Clever,
on the
Mrs.
note,
Washington.
I think I'd like to eat. Let me see. What do you guys have? Let me check. No, something new, man. What about African cuisine?
That's it, Mrs. Washington. We always serve our tourists
Great.
healthy and fresh food.
But now, can we rather just go straight to business instead of wasting time? Please tell me about your heritage, African heritage. I believe you're an expert on that, isn't it?
You are very sensitive, Mrs. Washington. Exactly, I am an expert, of course. And then please take out your diary and your pen so we can start.
Oh, great.
And please, Mrs. Washington, make sure that you listen to me very carefully because I may not repeat what I'm going to say. Right. We have the Irish House in Polokwane at the corner of Market and the Thabo Bay Street. A historian building that was restored its former glory in 1986 and converted into Polokwane Museum to display the multi-cultural heritage of the city and the province.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting indeed. Then what about Christianity? I heard that Limpopo has got variety of religious organizations. Would you elaborate on that?
Mrs. Washington, to tell the truth, Christianity was not originated in Africa. Although it was through the discovery of the researchers who say Jesus never existed. And they further found out from their assignments that Christianity was in fact a disaster for humanity, made chillingly ironic by its the bogus nature of its central character, superstar and the savior, Jesus Christ. And for the past 500 years, Christianity was used to sabotage, was used as a means of taking over the native people's land.
All right.
Taking over our land.
I get you.
Yes.
But then what about the Romans and what you call it? The ZCC Church? Yeah.
The Roman Catholic Church at the heart of the city of Polokwane was built in 1934. Although a relatively contemporary building, but is still considered one of the finest pieces of architecture and still a home to the Catholic congregation of Polokwane, a grandiose monument. And as far as ZCC, Zion Christian Church, the black denomination with the largest following in Africa. From Washington, at the time of gatherings, it became a great challenge for other religious organizations, as most people will gather once a year at the headquarters of the ZCC in Moria as a way to worship, dance, and to sing.
What was that? But whatever it is, it gives me chills. You know? Oh gosh, beautiful. That Kang. Oh gosh. Tell me, is there any other heritage site in Limpopo or in Africa?
Of course, Mrs. Washington,
really?
From Washington DC. We have the tourist attraction and the heritage site in Limpopo that represents Africa as a whole.
Africa?
Yes, Africa, Mrs. Washington. The Global Peace Summit. Think of Mapungube cultural landscape. The Tropic of Capricorn. The Baobab tree. Makapan's Valley. And the great Robben Island and the Table Mountain in Cape Town. They all form part of the heritage site in Africa.
Really?
Yes.
Gosh. But now tell me, how does Limpopo relate with Africa?
Oh, you know, Mrs. Washington from Washington DC. Africa has always been has always inspired the rest of the world with its unique culture and roots in human origin.
Oh, yes, Uncle Blitz.
Hey.
I also want to talk, as I was saying, Miss Mary Washington, you know, Limpopo province proud itself with one of its greatest heritage sites known as Mapungube, the lost city of gold. Miss Mary Washington, it is situated in the northern part of the province and celebrated annually by means of entertainment and cultural activities.
That's it, my girl. No, Papa. That's it. And then Mrs. Washington, and the stones and the bones, as well as the vulnerable, yes, vulnerable. And what? Vulnerable baobabs of Mapungube in Limpopo. They all form part of the heritage site and the national park.
Yes.
Oh, Africa!
The home of peace and prosperity.
I love Africa.
Africa unite!
We are one.
We are Africa!
No, thank you. Guys, this is magical. Where do you get this? Oh, I want to cry.
Don't cry, Mrs. Washington. This is Africa.
It is indeed. Beautiful. You guys, no, Master must just come home. No, this feels like home, you know. But is there anything else that you'd like to share with me? Concerning tourism, of course.
When I barbecue, my order, please.
Oh, 5 minutes, uncle.
Wait, now what's that? 5 minutes?
What was that?
I said my order. You know, I so wish Limpopo was a continent.
Huh?
Of course, Mrs. Washington. You know, Limpopo deserves to be a continent on its own because of its multicultural diversity.
Multicultural diversity.
Multicultural diversity.
Oh, that's quite deep. Okay, then on that note then, please take me through the Limpopo kings and queens.
Oh, of course, why not, Mrs. Washington?
King of the Bapedi nation. Bapedi are a branch of the Sotho people. Like almost all the Bantu-speaking communities, originated from the Great Lakes in the Central and Northern Africa. They have originated from the Bahuruzi branch of the Bahana. Their breakaway came in as Diale had to save his wife, Matobela, whom the other wives did not like. and was suspected to be a witch, so they had to flee. However, she gave birth to his first son, Thobela, who gave birth to Kgoshi Sekhukhuni's great-grandfather, who also gave birth to Thobejane, the father of Kgoshi Sekhukhune. Of the Botswana nation. They are a breakaway section whose roots are in the present day Botswana. Their breakaway was caused by the fact that Kgoshi Malete had no sons by his senior wife to succeed him in his throne. Some people opposed the fact that they could be ruled by a woman. So they plotted to kill Kgoshi Malete's only daughter, Matsei, especially by Kgoshi Malete's son of a junior wife.
Reverend Fritz Ruta of the Berlin Missionary Society. Ruta although they found the mission station known as Medinye, Kalekale Bomrao, 1881. Kizozo,
came to the Tsonga throne in 1884, whereupon he would be known. He was born in the territory of Gaza, somewhere between the Zambezi and Ngomati rivers. His father was the successor and son of Soshangai. He settled in the central valley of the Limpopo River, which is known as Shaimite, and he declared it his capital. Makado was regarded by the colonial forces, especially the Buandrangas, as the troublesome Venda chief because of his power and inability to defeat him. Makado became one of the most powerful African chiefs of his lifetime. He settled in the stronghold of the mountains of the Soutpansberg, which made it very difficult for his enemies to find him. He was born around 1830 by Kosi Pepura Mabulana and his wife Emani. The hunters taught him how to carry and use a gun, so he became a very good shooter. And after shooting a lot of Boers during his reign as a chief, he was known by his famous Venda speech, the Marambu Pedi, meaning only bones remained.
Mrs. Washington from Washington, D.C. Our motto here is nothing is more fun than the short left to the ball.
About hidden agendas of Africa.
Are you sure? You want to know hidden agendas, Mrs. Washington?
Well, that is the exact reason I'm here.
Well, let me take you through Africa and its countries. Mrs. Washington, we have the sub-Saharan desert, and that is where the Bantus originated as inhabitants of Nigeria, living around Benin Cross River, and they were known to have cultivation of forest crops.
Why were they called Bantus?
Well, it was an isolation from the Boers, who believed that the humanity, the family of species to which Africans belong, was separated from the ancestors of modern chimpanzees
Oh gosh.
between 4 and 6 million years ago.
Let's let.
Let's
Oh,
go back.
You want to tell me that pyramids originate from Mount?
I said it was due to thorough research.
Oh, I got you. All right. But now, tell me, is there anything else that you can tell me about Africa? Well, I heard that the white right? The West Africa was the chief trade route. And other empires like Kanepono and Mali Empire saw the rise.
At least you know something about Africa, Mrs. Washington. Unlike Bo barbecue, she will always tell you about meat, always meat. You know, nama, Mrs. Washington. You know, nama. Meat. Say nama. Nama. Name, yes. Yes, Mrs. Washington. And then now, again, about this Bantustan.
Bantus. What's this about Bantus?
Mrs. Washington, around 1,000 years AD, the Bantu-speaking people had spread out to the present Zimbabwe and South Africa. And during that time, the first key empire from the southern hemisphere was the Great Rhodesia. It was between 14th and 15th century that Rhodesia, now known as Zimbabwe, collapsed as a result of traders from Arab and Swahili who took over copper, stone, animal hide, ivory, and metal articles.
All right, but I'm a bit lost. What is meant by AD?
Oh, AD is simple, man. Anno Domini. Anno Domini, meaning after the death of this guy, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Uncle Black Sam. Lunch is ready. Bogobe, dinawa, ngata, le morogo, just as you like them.
What is marajo?
Oh, Miss Washington, not marago, morogo, which means traditional vegetable. You know, marago is your behind. Uncle Wabuche, you said a mouthful about Africa and its hidden agendas. Now, Miss May Washington, let me tell you about the other hidden agendas that are in Makapan's Valley, because there is more.
You know my tongue about Dr. Makama's radio. Musano over Dr. Makamara.
Uncle, no,
Musano over Dr.
Uncle.
Why black Sama Jamara?
Oh, don't mind him, man. Don't
No, I
mind
know.
him.
I want to know about the meat.
No, Mr. No.
All right.
Just
Yeah.
Mr. Washington, Mr. Washington. You know, Makapan's Valley is a series of dolomitic limestone caves, home to the great paleontological human records of human evolution. And it was through the discovery of Taung skull that humans had descended from apes. Oh, yes. If you don't believe me, ma'am, you can visit the Arent Pirin Museum in Mukopani, where the historic artifacts of human evolution are on display. Descended from apes. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Miss May Washington and the Swahilis. They are the descendants of Persian colonists. They have established a powerful cultural identity because of their highly population. And they have established a very powerful, strong culture. And because of their high population, states such as Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda became strongly centralized. That simply means that, Miss May Washington, all Africans were supposed to speak Swahili language.
That's it, my girl. That's why I write that song. Whatever. And then, as for the Northern Africa, around 1085 to 1685, the ancient Egypt had reached its peak in wealth, power, and territorial conquest. And by that time, Egypt was known as the land of blacks and Tamil.
Well, may I please have a taste of
and Tamil.
a taste of the African behind? Can I have a taste of the behind?
Yes, Washington, from Washington, D.C.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What were you saying again?
About the Global Peace Summit. Africa is indeed the Global Peace Summit. But now tell me, about this is nice. About the Stone Age. Let's talk about the Stone Age in Africa.
Mrs. Washington, during the latter part of the old Stone Age, humans from Africa produced some of the earliest and most significant examples of paintings on stone slabs found in Namibia. And those humans range from the San people from South Africa and to the others in what is now the Sahara.
Oh, the Sahara.
The Sahara.
The
This
Sahara.
is Washington, D.C.
The Sahara, you mean the Stone Age, the earliest Stone Age that was found in Africa.
Exactly!
Oh.
Exactly, Mrs. Washington from Washington, D.C. Yes, you catch on too fast, Mrs. Washington. You see, at that time, the Sahara not only protected the giraffe, the elephant, and the rhinoceros, but the hippopotamus and the fish as well.
So, Uncle Blackson,
Yes.
what type of clothes did the Saharans wear?
Oh, no. They wore woven materials and animal skins. And they used to eat animals and fruits from the forest and the Sahara Desert. And remember, Africa is the first civilized continent in the whole world.
But now, why Africa was called the Global Peace Summit?
Well, we identify ourselves as Africans, but we have different cultural identities that make us one and unite us. And every country is guided by their constitution.
Constitution. How does it work here in South Africa?
Oh, our constitution here is everybody is equal here in South Africa. No one is allowed to discriminate against one another by the color of their skin, age, language, religion, or gender. And again, human rights in Africa are also protected. For example, some schools turned away kids who had AIDS and other sexual transmitted diseases. However, the law protected those children's rights to education. And the right to practice religious or cultural beliefs are also protected. This is Washington. South Africa is still a developing country. Remember, Rome was not built in a day. But one day, you see, one day, Rome was built. I'm telling you,
Oh, our
into the hills and valleys, the mountains and the plains, the rivers, the deserts, the trees, the flowers, the seas and the ever-changing seasons that define the face of our native land. I owe my being to the koi and sen, whose desolate souls haunts the great expanses of the beautiful Cape. They fell victim to the most merciless genocide our native land has ever seen. Today, as a country, we keep an audible silence about these ancestors of the generations that live, fearful to admit the horror of a former deed, seeking to obliterate from our memories a cruel occurrence, which, its remembering, should teach us not and never to be inhumane again. I am formed of the migrants that left Europe seeking a new home in our native land. Whatever their actions, they remain still part of me. I am a grandchild of the warrior men and women that Hinza and Sikukuni led. The patriots that Mpepu and Setrayo took to battle. The soldiers that Musheshe and Ngunyane taught never to dishonor the cause of freedom. I am an African. I am the grandchild who laid fresh flowers on the blood graves at St. Helena and the Bahamas, who sees in the mind's eye and suffers the suffering of a pleasant food. Death concentration camps destroyed. Homestayed a dream in ruins. I am a nation that will not allow the fear of death, torture, imprisonment, exile, and persecution should result in the perpetuation of injustice.